To Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin. All across Nigeria, we're bringing news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV.
A lovely afternoon to you. Many thanks for joining us on the news at noon on 24 News Radio and Television. My name is Grace Nwafo. A leading member of the All Progressive Congress in Ekiti North Central Senatorial District, Barrister Yemi Ayeni, has thrown his weight behind Governor Biodun Oyebami's stance on those he called fifth columnists in his administration. In apparent reaction to those describing the governor's stern warning to erring top-ranking members of government as a reflection of panic born out of fear, Barrister Ayeni said the governor was rather bold and unequivocal by stating the obvious without mincing words. He said the governor called a spade by calling out those who had been appointed to sensitive positions in government but were fraternizing with those who did not wish the administration well. Barrister Ayeni, popularly known as YAA by his teeming supporters and followers, praised Governor Oyebamji for not coaching his words and deceptive or misleading political rhetoric. Quoting from the book of John, chapter 13, verse 18, he noted that Jesus was not afraid when he called out Judas Iscariot and stressed that it was a bold statement born out of the present situation. Barrister Ayeni affirmed that Mr. Governor's assertion was a reflection of his disappointment and disenchantment with the traitors in his inner caucus. The legal luminary reasserted his absolute and total confidence in Mr. Governor while claiming that he is one of Governor Oyebamji's disciples and 100% loyal. In the meantime, the All Progressive Congress has slammed governors elected under the platform of the People's Democratic Party over their recent criticism of the ruling party. The ruling party accused them of failing their state and citizens while misleading Nigerians with empty rhetoric. In a statement signed by its National Publicity Secretary, Felix Moka, the APC faulted the PDP governor's comment at a meeting in Zamfara State where they alleged that the ruling party was undemocratic and lacked vision ahead of the 2027 general elections. The party described the PDP's position as hypocritical and comical, insisting that the opposition party was in ruins and had been repeatedly rejected by Nigerians in successive elections. The ruling party also cited its dominant victory in recent by-elections as proof that President Bola Tinubu's administration's renewed hope policies were resonating with Nigerians. The ruling party argued that the PDP governors had no moral authority to criticize its government, alleging that they had failed to deliver good governance in their state despite benefiting from what it described as the highest ever federal revenue allocations under the current administration. Reaffirming confidence in President Tinubu's leadership, the APC urged Nigerians to disregard what it called the PDP's misleading distractions, stressing that the ruling party was committed to economic recovery, growth, and national renewal. The Nigerian Governors Forum has appointed Dr. Abdul Lateef Shittu as its Director General in a set of new appointments designed to reform its secretariat and align operations with international best practices. The appointments were announced in a statement by Yunusa Abdullahi, who was also appointed as Director of Media and Strategic Communications of NGF. Abdullahi said the appointment followed the comprehensive review by Deloitte, engaged to re-engineer NGF processes and reinforce its mandate as a subnational policy hub. He stressed that the changes were not merely administrative, but marked a deliberate shift towards a more agile and result-driven institution. Other appointments include Mr. Edmond Nnaji, a legal practitioner with vast corporate law experience, as Executive Director of Finance and Administration, while Professor Dauda Yunusa, a former Commissioner for Economic Planning, Budget and Development, was named Executive Director of Policy, Strategy and Research. Dr. Ahmad Abdul Wahab was appointed Executive Director of Programs and Partnerships, bringing his deep expertise in health system reform and program management. Also appointed was Chijoke Chukwu as General Counsel and Head of Energy. Mrs. Hauwa Haliru Hassan was elevated to Director, Gender Affairs and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has transferred regulatory oversight of the electricity market in Bayelsa State to the Bayelsa Electricity Regulatory Agency. In a notice on its social media handles, the Commission said this was in compliance with the amended 1999 Constitution and the Electricity Act 2023. Recall that the Electricity Act 2023, the Commission retains the role as a central regulator with regulatory oversight on the interstate, international generation, transmission, supply, trading, and system operations. The Act also mandates any state that intend to establish and regulate interstate electricity markets to deliver a formal notification of its processes and request NERC to transfer regulatory authorities over electricity operations in the state to the state regulator. The transfer order by NERC directed Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company plc to incorporate a subsidiary distribution company to assume responsibilities for interstate supply and distribution of electricity in Bayelsa State from PHED. PHED was also directed to complete the incorporation of PHED Subco within 60 days from August 21, 2025. With this order, Bayelsa has joined states like Lagos, Imo, Ogun, Ondo, Ekiti, Enugu, Niger, Edo, Oyo, and Plateau State, which have got the power to regulate electricity market. The state can now also generate, transmit, and distribute electricity while issuing licenses to investors within the value chain. This is still the news at noon on 24 News Radio and Television. Still to come are news from the foreign scene and the world of sports. Stay with us. Glad to know that you're still there, just joining us. This is the news at noon on 24 News Radio and Television. Over now to the foreign scene, where we have Donald Trump has threatened to deploy National Guard troops to yet another Democratic stronghold, the Maryland city of Baltimore, as the U.S. president seeks to expand his crackdown on crime and immigration. The Republicans' latest online rant about an out-of-control, crime-ridden city comes as Democratic state leaders, including Maryland Governor Wes Moore, line up to berate Trump on a high-profile political stage. Trump this month deployed the National Guard to the streets of Washington in a widely criticized show of force the president said amounts to a federal takeover of U.S. Capitol policing. The military said the Guard began carrying weapons in Washington on Sunday. Reports disclosed that Trump administration is also planning an unprecedented deployment of thousands of National Guard personnel to Chicago, the country's third largest city, prompting vocal pushback from Democrats there as well. Trump's feud with Moore appeared to escalate dramatically this week, with the governor assailing Trump's provocative suggestions of deploying troops in Maryland, and Trump calling Moore nasty and threatening to revoke federal funds to help fix a collapsed bridge. And from Gaza, Al Jazeera has disclosed that one of its journalists was killed in an Israeli strike in Gaza 2 weeks after the broadcaster lost 6 staff and freelancers in an attack. Mohammad Salama, a photojournalist and cameraman, was killed in an attack on a medical complex that left 14 people dead. Earlier this month, 4 Al Jazeera staff and 2 freelancers were killed in an Israeli airstrike outside Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza City, prompting widespread condemnation. Mahmoud Bassal, Gaza's civil defense spokesman, also said the death toll in the latest attack stood at 14, including journalists. An Israeli explosive drone targeted the building at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, followed by an airstrike as the wounded were being evacuated. And now from the world of sport. Nigerian striker Victor Boniface was subjected to 4 different medicals in Italy before his move to AC Milan eventually fell through. Milan decided to pull out of a deal from the Bayer Leverkusen striker due to concerns over his fitness and medical history. The Nigerian international was in Italy for medicals with the Rossoneri over the weekend, but he has returned to Germany with reports that Milan were still uncertain over a decision to sign him either way. Report disclosed that Milan have concerns regarding Boniface's injury history, which includes 2 cruciate ligament tear on the same knee during his time with Bodo Glimt, plus a series of muscular injuries that caused him to miss chunks of each of the last 2 seasons with Bayer Leverkusen. It is the second time Boniface has had a failed transfer this year. And that brings us to the end of the news at noon on 24 News Radio and Television. Do stay tuned for more programs will be coming your way. My name is Grace Mwafo. Have a lovely afternoon.